So framing the proper null and alternative is very important. If your hypotheses are not framed correctly, you may at the end arrive to a wrong decision, wrong conclusion. So framing of the hypothesis is very important, and that the researcher or experimenter has to decide looking at the problem under study. The next step is calculating the appropriate test statistic, then deciding on the significance level, which as we discussed to be decided by the experimenter, then find the critical region, that is C and C complement, that is finding a decision rule, and finally drawing a conclusion. Now there are the statistical test again can be classified as one or two tail test. So in statistical significance testing, the one and two tail test are the alternative ways of computing the significance of the parameter which is to be inferred from the available sample data in terms of a test statistic. So a two tail test is to be used. Now the question is when a one tail test is to be used and when a two tail test is to be used. So a two tail test is used if deviations, you know what is a deviation? It's a variation, because as we know that we are having only one sample from a population we are drawing, okay? On that basis, whatever values we are finding, that values will not be true. That same value we may not obtain for all possible different sample. That means there is a variation. So if we want to allow the variation on either side, on both the side from the target value, then we can frame a two-sided test. So this is a two-sided test, and this is the critical region of a two-sided test. If your critical region lies on both the tail, these are called the tails of the probability distribution. Here this is, as you can see, it's a symmetrical probability curve. Say for example, suppose you have a normal distribution which behaves like this. So in that case, if you have a two-sided test, your rejection area will be on this side, left side, or the right side. These are called tails of the distribution. This is the right tail of a distribution. This is the left tail of the distribution. If your sample observation lies in this region, in the left tail, or it lies in the right tail, under both the tails we are going to reject H0. In contrast, we can say that in this middle portion, if your sample statistic lies in this middle portion, then we are going to accept the null hypothesis. So in such a cases, our test is called two-tail test. For example, suppose there is a bakery which is producing the cookies, and the cookies are to be packed. Each pack should be having a weight of 0.16 ounce. So to check whether that packaging is done properly or not, suppose every day the bakery manager or inspector, he takes a random sample remember, of 25 packages to find whether the packaging process is operating properly or not, because what is the target value here? 0.16 ounce. Okay, so okay, it should be 8. We should make a correction here. It should be 8. So 8 ounce to be the standard package value. Now suppose on checking of a random sample of size 25, on some day it is found that the mean, so now it is X bar, it's a sample mean, and the population mean you can call as mu. So now you can understand mu is a parameter, population value, whereas X bar is a value based on a sample, so it's a statistic. So if the statistic value which is based on a sample of 25, suppose it came to 8.112, and what's the target value? Standard package should consist of the cookies weighing 8 ounce. So now you can imagine the situation that if the packages consist of more than 8 ounce weights of the cookies, then the bakery is at the loss, and if the package consists of less than 8 ounce, then the customer is at the loss. So here both the side, target value is 8, so neither more than 8 or nor less than 8 ounce weight in any packet is the good thing. So here our test should be two-sided. That means here we can frame the null hypothesis as mu is equal to 8, whereas the alternative should be of the form mu not equal to 8. Right? Here the alternative should be of the form mu not equal to 8, and that is called the two-sided test or two-sided hypothesis. Similarly, we can have a one-sided hypothesis like here, that suppose we have the mean weight of airline passenger including their baggages which they carry. Suppose the airline has specified that this weight should not increase 195 pounds. Okay, suppose this is the value which is set by the Federal Aviation Administration. Then here, if any passenger is carrying less than 195 or equal to 195 is okay, but what is not accepted if the passenger is carrying more than 195. So that means here the test is one-sided. Your null would be framed that mu less or equal, this is a desired thing, that the passenger should have weight less or equal to 195 pounds including the baggage, whereas what you do not prefer is that he should not carry the weight more than 195. So this is called one-sided hypothesis. Both this they are called here one-sided hypothesis. Now we do some exercises on the small problems we discuss regarding the hypothesis testing. So suppose we take an example of a Poisson distribution. Say X is a random sample of size 1. We are taking a sample of just size 1. Is drawn from a Poisson distribution, say with mean lambda, or it's a rate of occurrence lambda. Suppose we want to test the null hypothesis that lambda is less or equal to 1 against the alternative that lambda is greater than 1. The problem is we want to compute the power of the test when the critical region is specified to be x greater or equal to 2, and power we have to compute using this different values of lambda 2, 3, 4 and 5. Using the values of lambda 2, 3, 4, 5 we want to compute the power. So here we have specified the critical region. That is, what we are going to observe is we are observing one random variable from a Poisson distribution. For example, it may be the number of accidents, or it may be the number of printing mistakes on a page, or it may be number of telephone calls in a half an hour interval. We are observing just one such observation. So in some specified interval, suppose we are observing a Poisson random variable, say number of telephone calls. Okay, so here the hypothesis lambda, what is the lambda here? Say the rate at which the call comes. Okay, so here we say that lambda is less or equal to 1. That means we say that in an half an hour interval we are going to receive less than or equal to 1 or less than 1 call. Okay, so the rate at which the number of calls are coming, that rate is lambda, and that is less or equal to 1, that is null hypothesis, whereas alternative is lambda greater than 1. So the critical region for this problem is specified to be x greater or equal to 2. That means if in a half an hour interval we are observing more than 2 calls, 2 or more than 2 calls, we are going to reject this claim. And if we observe the value x to be less than 2 in a half an hour interval, we will be in favor of H1. So we have to find here the power. So as per the definition of power, it is probability of rejecting null when it is false. That means probability that your sample observation belong to the critical region. What is the critical region here? X greater or equal to 2. When H0 is false, means H1 is true. And when H1 is true, that means your true parameter value lambda will lie under the parameter space specified under H1. So here, what is omega 1? 1 to infinity, because looking at the hypothesis, H0 is lambda less or equal to 1 in a Poisson distribution. In a Poisson distribution, the probability mass function is e raised to minus lambda power x upon x factorial, where value of x are greater or equal to 0. That means x takes values 0, 1, 2 up to infinity, countably infinite sample space, and the parameter lambda will assume any value greater than 0. So your parameter space here is going to be, the parameter space is going to be 0 to infinity. And because of h naught is lambda less or equal to 1, so correspondingly omega naught parameter space under null hypothesis is 0 to 1 close interval, because you say lambda less or equal to 1 under h naught, and under h1 you have lambda greater than 1. So lambda, what is the specification on lambda? Lambda can be any value greater than 0. So because of h1 is lambda greater than 1, correspondingly your omega 1 is going to be 1 to infinity. So now to compute the power, as we can see from here, probability x belong to C. X belong to C means what? Probability that x is greater or equal to 2. But as we said, what are the possible values of x here? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up to infinity. So greater or equal to 2 means your x can take possibly the values 2, 3, 4, 5 up to infinity. So when you say x belong to C, if x takes value greater or equal to 2. Greater or equal to 2 means what? 2, 3 up to infinity. So it is summation of sum over the Poisson probability mass function, but sum taken over the values of x starting with 2 up to infinity. That means this is the probability of x equal to 2 plus probability x equal to 3 plus probability x equal to 4 up to infinity. And we were said that we have to find power using this different values of lambda. So this is the table you can see. If you use lambda equal to 2, what you have to do here? You take lambda equal to 2, fix lambda here as 2, and take different values of x starting with 2. So e raised to minus 2, when we have lambda is 2, it will be e raised to minus 2 lambda raised to 2 upon 2 factorial plus e raised to minus 2 2 raised to 3 upon 3 factorial plus e raised to minus 2 2 raised to 4 upon 4 factorial and so on up to infinity. So actually how you can compute? Can you go up to infinity? No. So what you can do is, this you can compute as 1 minus probability x less than 2. That is 1 minus probability x is 0 plus probability x is equal to 1, taking lambda equal to 2. So correspondingly you will get the power value corresponding to lambda equal to 2. That power is 0.5940. Similarly for lambda is 3. Here you have to take lambda equal to 3. And correspondingly you will get the power like this. So what will happen? If you plot a power curve, say lambda versus beta lambda, you have different values of lambda like 2, 3, 4, 5, and you have the different values of beta which will go from say 0.1, 0.2 up to, or say 0.2, 0.4 up to 1. So you can see corresponding to lambda equal to 2, your power is 0.59, that is corresponding to around 0.6, versus 3 your power is 0.8, versus 4 the power is near to 0.9, and for 5 the power is 0.95, like that. So you can see the behavior of power curve, power function, it behaves increasingly. That means what happens? As you go away from the value 1, because lambda is 1, it's a cutoff value. Lambda is 1 is the cutoff value. So as you go away from 1, your power increases. That is power, probability of getting correct decision, that increases as you go away from the value 1, threshold value. From 1, as you go away, your power increases. Similarly, we have another example that is of binomial distribution. So basically we have x1, x2, xn are IID, that is independent and identically distributed Bernoulli random variables with probability of success p. So you can know that the probability mass function of Bernoulli, it takes only two possible values, success or failure. So probability that the trial results in a success, that is 1, it is p, and probability that the trial results in a failure is 1 minus p, and we want the inference regarding p. So p being probability of success, its value lie between 0 and 1. So our parameter space is 0 to 1. Suppose we want to test the hypothesis that probability of success is half, against it is not equal to half. That means our parameter space under null is half, and this is the parameter space under alternative. Suppose we define 6 trials. Suppose we have 6 trials, and if we define S as a sum of 6 trials, that means total number of success in 6 trials, then the random variable S will follow a binomial distribution with n equal to 6 and the probability of success P. The critical region, suppose it is S is 0 or S is 6, means if we get all success or all failures, we are going to reject the null hypothesis that P is half. So if I want to compute type 1 error, probability of type 1 error, so it is rejecting null. When you reject null, when S is 0 or 6, when H0 is true, under H0, P is half. So this is your probability of type 1 error alpha, 0.03125. Similarly, if you want to find power, it is probability of rejection of H0 when P is not equal to half. So different from 1 by 2, you can take different values of P. Say for example, I have taken 0.25, 0.4, 0.7, 0.9, and you have to compute probability that S takes value 0 or 6. Under this different P values, you will get this power. So similarly, we will get the power function as we have plotted it for the Poisson distribution. Similar kind of power curve. Here you have to plot P versus beta P, right? So you will get the power curve. So here also you can see that your threshold value, your value under H0 is 1 by 2. So as you are, say from 1 by 2, from 0.5, if you go in the left direction, 0.4, and from 0.4 again if you go away, 0.25, your power increases. Likewise, on the right side, if from 0.5 you move to 0.7, this is the power. But again, if you move further right, 0.9, again your power increases. That means what will happen? As on the either side of P, you move from 1 by 2. If you move farther on the left side or farther on the right hand side, your power will increase. Power is less when your P value is near to 1 by 2. But as you go away from 1 by 2, power increases. So this is the behavior, and this is the behavior of your test, you can see. Thank you.
સંધાન ઓલ ગુજરાત ઇન્ટિગ્રેટેડ ક્લાસરૂમ
સેટેલાઇટના માધ્યમથી જોડતી કડી એટલે સંધાન.